let's assume, for the sake of argument, under my hypothetical, that a week later they find, aha! This little rascal actually voted by absentee ballot at his home in Virginia and also cast a ballot in person in Connecticut. What happens to that guy? Through you, Mr. Speaker.
Representative Moran.
Well, through you, Mr. Speaker, under penalty of law, he's sworn. When he goes to register, he's going to swear or confirm that he is who he is, that he's all the information is true. And if he's found to have fraudulently voted, he will be subject to the penalties, which we discussed a little earlier. Through you, Mr. Speaker.
Representative Cafero.
And what about his vote? Through you, Mr. Speaker. What happens to that? Through you, Mr. Speaker.
Representative Moran.
I waited this time. Through you, Mr. Speaker. As discussed, there is nothing that will happen to that vote. It'll be counted.
Representative Cafero.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, we've heard all about that. The purpose of this bill is not to disenfranchise voters, but to encourage them to vote. Well, I would submit to you that when my vote, legitimately cast, is nullified by a vote illegitimately cast, my right to vote is being infringed upon. My right to vote and my effective voting is being infringed upon. Because in my hypothetical, maybe that didn't happen once. Maybe it happened 5, 10, 15, 20, 50 times. And maybe not at just one college campus or one polling place, but many polling places. And maybe it turned an election. Maybe it turned an election for state rep or state senator or Congress or the presidency of the United States or governor or some other office. What about my rights? The little brat from Virginia might get in big trouble, although, with all due respect, I wouldn't hold my breath for this kid being in jail or anything. Wouldn't hold my breath. And with all due respect, not too confident they're going to follow through to see if Junior, who voted and registered on Election Day, voted somewhere else. Could be wrong. Not too confident about that. But what we know up front is even if that vote is proven illegal, it still counts. So what happened to my vote that was legal? What happened to my vote that was legal? You know, especially after the last election in 2010, when whether true or not there were widespread allegations of fraud, when there was a stain on our state of Connecticut and its election system for even a little bit, why would we do this? Why would we do this? When with all due respect to Representative Moran, the mechanics of the bill itself actually could encourage fraud. And by the way, fraud that would be, one, very hard to detect, and by Representative Moran's own admission, impossible to reverse the effects thereof. Impossible. Oh yeah, Junior might get in trouble. Again, wouldn't hold my breath. But he just infringed on our rights to vote. And when you have a system that allows this, with no check, or very little check, you don't even have to have a license. You come up with a photo ID or your book bill or some freaking thing that has your address on it, and you're cool. Sign and go in, vote. On Election Day, ladies and gentlemen. You know, disenfranchisement works both ways. It works both ways. You know, we even have in legislative bodies, you cancel each other's vote out. If two people have to go, you're on opposite sides of an issue, and you both leave, they figure that's fair. Because you're canceling out that vote. Well, I don't want the potential of my vote being canceled out by someone who votes illegally. And quite frankly, I don't give a damn if they get in a lot of trouble. Yes, they should. But that's not going to help me any. That doesn't make my vote any stronger. I'm being disenfranchised. Whatever happened to that? Whatever happened to the thousands upon thousands of people that did it the right way, that registered in advance, that prove where they live, that go on election day because they feel it's their duty to do so, their right to do so, and they vote? Why should their vote be canceled out by the potential of fraud? Because we have scores and scores of people waiting at the voting booth who are turned away because they didn't register? Come on, folks. We're all in the business. We stand by the polls every day, every year. Doesn't happen that way. If we're going to incent people to vote and get more people in the process, this isn't the way to do it. And if we're going to look at our constituents and say, have faith in the results of an election, don't question it. We've done everything in our power to make sure it's honest and fair. This isn't the way to do it. Remember, disenfranchisement works both ways. Why should our votes be nullified by those who do things illegally? They shouldn't. That's my concern with this bill. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.